Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling video podcast I run over here on YouTube.com. And the reason why this is a very special episode is because it's predictions time. That's right, it's WWE pay-per-view weekend, and it is the Royal Rumble 2018. I will be doing predictions as well for WWE NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. That will be a little bit later on once I fully get the card. There's, I think, one more match to be announced, but they haven't announced it yet. On that side, I am filming this on a Wednesday right now for the Royal Rumble, and as of right now, there are 6 matches to talk about. And those 6 matches are obviously going to be either between the pre-show and between the main card. With the factor that there are two Royal Rumble matches this time, usually the card for the Rumble is like 5 matches, but there's a good chance that they only do 4 matches on the main card this time, and the rest of it might be on the pre-show to go along with it. So we'll see how that one ends up playing out. But as far as I can look, and I'm gonna bring, you know what? I'm gonna just bring up the card. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna bring up the card. Well, we're going to take a couple seconds here. Bring up the card as well, because I have my predictions in front of me too. And we're just going to see if it's true that there's only 6 matches right now. Or did they announce more? Let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, only 6. Only 6 of them right now. That is the truth. So let's go right into the first one. More than likely, if they're doing more than one pre-show match, both of these matches will be on the pre-show on that side of everything. So let's start with the first one, which is for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. It is going to be the Usos, the champions, going up against Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin in a 2 out of 3 falls match. I think it's time. Yeah, honestly, I think it's time. We had that bit where they thought Gable and Benjamin had won the titles, but a referee came out and showed an instant replay saying that the illegal people were tagged in and who were part of the pinfall, and then it got overturned, and then the Usos kept the tag team titles. I think it's time that Gable and Benjamin get those titles, and it's going to end up happening here. I know I'm going away from conventional logic because Gable and Benjamin stood tall going into the pay-per-view, but I'm going to probably stick with conventional wisdom on other ones, and I think they're going to go away from that on this particular match. I think it does go to a 3rd fall on this one, and I expect this one to actually be fairly, really, really good. And oddly enough, is going to be on the pre-show. That's going to be weird to go along with it on that side of everything. So it'll be interesting to see how they play off of that one to go along with everything. But I am going with Gable and Benjamin to win this 2 out of 3 falls match and win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. So this brings us to the other tag team titles, the Raw Tag Team titles. It is going to be Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan going up against Sheamus and Cesaro. It's the Bar. I'm actually going with the Bar on this one. Yeah, I think this is going to be the time that they are going to actually start Jason Jordan's full heel turn. You can kind of see it with him acting cocky and everything like this. The crowd's already booing him. Like, what they're doing is working. They want you to boo Jason Jordan, and he's going to eventually turn on Seth and turn on Kurt and everything on that side. It'll probably lead to something going into WrestleMania with either Seth Rollins or Kurt Angle on that side of everything to go along with it. And it will be like what they've been doing with Jason Jordan has been great. Just his attitude, the way that he comes off in his character is absolutely astounding. It's amazing stuff. I think it's great with what they've been doing, and I think this is kind of be that start of the full turn. He's kind of worked with the faces for this entire bit. He's been making mistakes inside of his matches, but inside of the matches and costing some victories. But the mistake was on Seth Rollins' side this time, where he hit an inadvertent knee on Jason Jordan on Monday night during the Peep Show talk segment. So I think they're going to play off of that, and this is going to be that full, the beginning of the full heel turn, and he'll probably just turn on Seth during the rematch or something on that side to go along with it. So I am going with Sheamus and Cesaro. The thing that would almost make me go with Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan winning this match was the fact that Sheamus is kind of dealing with a spinal stenosis issue, but as long as he's okay, as long as it's not going to injure him down the line too long, and he doesn't stick around too long on that side, because that, spinal stenosis was a thing that ended Stone Cold's career, ended Edge's career. I believe it was also the same neck injury that pretty much ended Paige's career as well, and was the same thing Nikki Bella had to go along with it on that one. And she's not doing much in the terms of wrestling anymore as well on that side. So you're kind of, it makes you like want him to take care of the issue, but if he's like passing the test, everything on that side, and nothing's going to be happening bad to him, and the rehab is working for him, and he wants to keep going, then you kind of, it's like, okay, keep going, but don't injure yourself. That would be the only reason why I would kind of go with Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan, but I'm going with Sheamus and Cesaro on this one because I think they're going to go with the storyline for this side. So this brings us to that triple threat match, with it being Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, and Kane. I kind of stole that one from the Going In Raw guys. Sorry. But it sounds fun. It does sound fun on that one, saying Kane's name that way. So Kane being in this triple threat match for the Universal title. We all know why Kane's there. They don't want Braun to eat another pin to Brock. Braun's amazing. Kane's there to pretty much eat the pinfall. And they're going to probably, I so much want it to be Braun that wins this match, because he's been amazing and great, like, throughout this entire year. But it's not time. It's not time for Braun. I'm going with Brock. The storyline was put in place basically from last year's WrestleMania on. Probably even sooner than that, to go along with it, for an even longer time than that. It's gonna be Brock and Roman at WrestleMania. Unless something really weird happens with that whole steroid issue with Roman Reigns to go along with it, though people are very sketchy on that one at this point in time. But it's more likely going to be Brock going up against Roman. And honestly, WrestleMania is the time for Brock to lose that title. And more likely he's going to lose it to Roman. So I'm going with Brock Lesnar winning this match on that side of everything. Hopefully this will be a fun one. Some of the stuff that they've done with this, it could be fun. This could be a fun triple threat. So this brings us to AJ Styles going up against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a handicap match, and I'm weirded out by that one. That's very weird, because I don't think we've had the WWE title put on the line in a handicap match. We've had titles put on in tag matches, singles titles, put on in tag matches, and we've had them put in 6-man or 6-person tag matches before. The ones that kind of come to mind was, I believe, 2000 King of the Ring with Triple H, Vince, and Shane, with Triple H being the WWF champion at the time, going up against The Rock, The Undertaker, and Kane, where Rock comes out with the title. So that's it was WWF at the time. So that's an instance with the WWE title being on the line. There was also another 6-man with that, which was, I believe, Vince, Shane, and Triple H again, with Triple H walking in as champion, going up against Randy Orton, Ted DiBiase, and Cody Rhodes' legacy at the time. And Randy Orton comes out with the WWE title at that time. Other instances, we've had the Intercontinental title and the women's title put on there. You had Chyna and Eddie Guerrero going up against Val Venus and Trish, where Chyna won the Intercontinental title. You had an instance where Mickie James and I believe Kofi Kingston put both of their titles on the line, going up against Santino Marella and Beth Phoenix, where Santino and Beth ended out picking. There's a tendency there with the tag matches that the titles change hands, because Beth Phoenix and Santino walked out with both the women's title and the Intercontinental title on that case. Let's break the trend now, because Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn stood tall. I'm going to go with conventional wisdom. They stood tall in the final SmackDown, with Sami Zayn picking up the victory over AJ Styles in a one-on-one match after they played this thing where Kevin Owens had gotten injured. He tapped out in his match relatively quickly, was being looked at by the paramedics, or basically by the EMTs at that time, and AJ was kind of distracted by that and kind of kept also going after Kevin Owens for everything that they had done to him since then, and Sami Zayn picked up that victory. Since they stood tall going out of SmackDown, AJ Styles stands tall at the pay-per-view and keeps the WWE title. So I'm going with AJ Styles in this particular match. So this brings us to what should be the harder things to predict in this one. We have the two Royal Rumble matches. Let's start with the women's Royal Rumble match, and then we'll go into the men's one. So this one's an interesting one. They've announced 18 people. 18 women so far, which is pretty much the rest of the roster minus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte being the two champions. So it leaves a lot of room for legends, NXT, surprise person who's never been in a wrestling ring before, which we'll talk about in a little bit, to be in this match. So NXT people that I kind of expect. These are the ones I kind of expect. I'll be a little bit disappointed if they don't show up in this match. I expect Ember Moon, Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, and Billie Kay. I kind of expect those four. Legends that could potentially show up in here. You had a good chunk of them that could be potential for... that were... well, a bunch of them were legends. Two of them are kind of current with the Bella Twins. Bella Twins could show up in there in some way, shape, or form to go along with it. Whether it just be either one of them, Nikki or Brie, or both Nikki and Brie show up in separate forms in the match in some way. You have Michelle McCool there, Tori Wilson, Kelly Kelly. You also had Trish Stratus there on that side to go along with it, which I would kind of hope they would have Trish Stratus inside of that match, but you never know. The only two that showed up on Raw who couldn't really be in that match would be either Maurice or Maria, because, well, they're both pregnant. You're not going to have them go out there in that match while they're pregnant on that side of everything. Other potential surprises, potentially Karma or Awesome Kong. The one that I would really like, and if they were both in the match, you just book this to happen. Have Lita show up, and then the next number is Trish, and you have the stare down in the ring. Philly will pop for that one. That's fantasy booking to go along with it. If both of them are going to be in the match, you might as well do it at that point in time. But this leaves us to the other surprise. And first of all, I'm not going to pick this person because they're a surprise. A potential surprise person in the match. There's a lot of rumor going around that Ronda Rousey's going to be in the Women's Rumble. And to be honest with you, if she is in the Women's Rumble, she probably wins. But it's not been announced in any way, shape, or form because it's going to be potentially a surprise. There's rumor that she's going to be filming something the day of the Rumble, and she's going to be completely across the world and won't be able to show up. But there's also that chance that, that's kind of just a ruse to go along with it. So there's, that potential for Ronda Rousey showing up in the Women's Rumble match. Again, I'm not going to pick the surprise on this one. I'm not going to pick the rumor mill on that one. We'll go with it that way. So, I'm going to go with the other safe bet in this one. And I am going to go with Asuka. I'm going with Asuka to win this one. Honestly, if she doesn't win the Rumble, it doesn't really hurt the undefeated streak because she's never been pinned, never been submitted. She was just thrown over a top rope. That was it. So it doesn't really hurt the undefeated streak, anything on that side. Battle Royals don't technically do that to the record, at least to me. To some other people, it probably does. But I am going to go with Asuka winning this one, going on to WrestleMania. Have her be in a dominant performance. Honestly, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Women's Rumble in general. Because they have things, like you expect surprises. You expect NXT people. Those are things that they kind of typically do with the Royal Rumble. But are they going to do some of the other things that they do with the Royal Rumble? Who's going to be the dominant force throwing out a lot of the other women? Who's going to be like the person with a ton of eliminations? Is it going to be somebody like Asuka? Is it going to be somebody like Nia Jax? Are they going to go with that side and have her be kind of that dominant force that throws out a lot of people? Are they going to have your number one or number two entrant or both of them last an extremely long period of time? Are they going to have essentially the Iron Woman in this match to go along with it? That's another story that they could go along with. And they could play off of that. It's like you have number one or number two enter and they last to the final four. And you have a potential, they don't win the match. Unless they do it with Asuka and she ends up winning that way. To go along with it. But they could have them last to the final four and you have like this potential star-making performance. It's like, hey, look, they were number one or number two and last for a long period of time. Kind of give an instance of the Iron Woman in the match and somebody lasting an extremely long period of time in the match. Are they going to do something like that, or are they not going to go that route? It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with this match, because we've had women's battle royals before, but we haven't had the whole aspect of the Royal Rumble side where you have just two people start and, entrance at intervals and everything in that sense. So they have a lot that they can play off of, and they have a lot of potential storylines that they can make out of this one. I'm not going to go off and do fantasy booking outside of the factor that they should, if you have Trish and Lita in this match, you just have them do a stare down. It's logical. But they have a lot of different potential chances at making storylines in this one. And we'll see what they play off of. Let's see how they play off of this one. This is a wait and see, and where are they going to go with this match? And it'll be interesting to see how they play off of it. So, like I said, Asuka is my pick. But we'll be interested to see how they play off of this match. So, this leads us to the final match of the night, which is the Men's Royal Rumble. And I was penciling, I was typing my predictions out for these matches before Raw and SmackDown had aired. And I had already had my pick down, and it's sitting there right in front of me. But something happened on Monday that made me almost change my pick. And because you assume Roman Reigns is in this match. Finn Balor's probably is in the match. You have Cena in the match. You have Nakamura in the match. You have Orton in the match. You probably have Roman Reigns inside the match. Who else to really go with? Bobby Roode in the match. Rusev's in the match. And any potential surprises, anything on that side to go along with it. But it almost made me want to change my pick to Roman Reigns because he lost the Intercontinental title on Raw. And it makes you think, are they going to do that again in Philly? We saw what happened in 2015 when they were in Philly and Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble with, people kind of wanting it to be Daniel Bryan to win that match. To the point that they had The Rock go out there and try to help Roman Reigns get cheered, and they just continued booing. Are they going to do that again? Now, I'm going to go off and say I'm a person who doesn't mind Roman Reigns, but would they do that again? And I'm going to go with the answer being no. They can set up Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns with the Elimination Chamber match a little bit down the line at the next pay-per-view for Raw. So they could set that up there. They're kind of dead set on Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Use an opportunity here with the Royal Rumble being a big match to build some momentum for your SmackDown main event at WrestleMania. And no, I'm not picking John Cena to face AJ Styles again, though I wouldn't mind seeing that match again, because they've put on 3, pretty damn good matches in the terms of one-on-ones, and everything on that sense. But I want to see this match in WWE. The person I'm picking, I want to see this match in WWE, and I'm kind of assuming AJ Styles is keeping the title going into WrestleMania. I've seen the match in New Japan, and yes, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Shinsuke Nakamura to win the Royal Rumble. The only other option that I would, and this is kind of more of me like, please give us this at WrestleMania type thing, to go along with it. Their Wrestle Kingdom 10 match was fantastic. It was great. The storytelling that they did inside of that match was amazing stuff. And that was their last, well, it was AJ's last New Japan match, and it was the second to last for Shinsuke Nakamura. And all honesty, I want to see it again. And I want to see them do it at WrestleMania. And I want WWE to say, here's your time. Have fun. Tell your story. Go all out. Do what you need to do in this match and go out there and put on a fantastic match to go along with it. So that's a little bit of fantasy booking to go along with it, but I want to see it. And I'm not saying it's like, oh, this is how they should book it and everything on that side. I'm kind of predicting how they're going to go here. And it's like, this is how they should book their storyline going into the pay-per-view, and this is how the match should go. It's like, no. I'm not saying that. It's like, I want AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And just let them just do whatever at that point in time. Tell your story type thing for that particular match. I want to see the match again. I saw the Wrestle Kingdom 10 match. I want to see the match one more time. Which would mean that it's technically happened twice, but it hasn't happened under the WWE banner. They teased it at Money in the Bank a little bit. You got some interaction between the two of them. And I want to see it again. I want to see it again, and I want to see where they go with it on that one. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with potential surprises on the men's side as well, and where they go with everything in that Rumble match to go along with everything. Are they gonna do what they did in Philly in 2015, and you have Roman Reigns win the Rumble, or are they gonna go a different route? Let's hope they go a different route. Honestly, like I said, I don't mind Roman Reigns and everything, but the Philly crowd's just gonna crap all over it if they do it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Shinsuke Nakamura. And we'll wait and see what they decide to do with the Royal Rumble match. So hopefully the Royal Rumble pay-per-view is going to be a lot of fun. I honestly do enjoy this pay-per-view. And the announcement earlier today that the Royal Rumble is coming to Chase Field in Phoenix again next year has got me really, really amped, because I'm living in the Phoenix area right now. So there's the potential that I might be able, without having to travel, which I've thought about doing for some of these major shows, especially with the NXT takeovers. But there's a potential of seeing NXT takeover and the Royal Rumble within the same weekend, live and in person, and that will be very interesting. So I'm kind of excited on that news, but that is for next year. Hopefully this year's Royal Rumble is going to be a fun one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I end out enjoying it. I do plan on doing live reactions for the pay-per-view, we'll see how that one plays off based off of work things and everything on that side. But that is the game plan for Sunday, is to do live reactions for the Royal Rumble. We'll see what ends up happening. I hope you guys enjoy everything and have a great rest of your day.